Hey there, my name's John Gehring, and I'm the developer of Mindscope 2, and I'd like to give you just a quick run through of the various features of what you can do with this app. So if I go into my board here, Mindscope, I have already an entry generated tutorial video, and we can just kind of walk through some of the things that make up Mindscope 2. So real quick, just a question, what is it? What is Mindscope 2? Mindscope is a free-form text canvas. So the idea is any of these entries you can move around, and it's also an outliner. So as you saw, as I was tapping on these various entries, they open up their own sub-entries. And each entry then has its own space, which lets you hierarchically organize your thoughts. It syncs on all your devices with iCloud. So Mac, iPad, iPhone, and even now on Watch, you can get in list form a sync of the entries that you create. And I've added a ton of new features in Mindscope 2. I'm not going to be able to cover all of these, of course, but basically over the past years, I've been tinkering away slowly but surely at getting this new version just completely, all my dream features, as many as I can, packed into this update. It's going to be free, up to 200 entries and 2 boards. If we go back here, these are the boards. So you can create 2 different separate boards and up to 200 entries altogether for completely free with all the features included. Anything above that, there will be a way to purchase Mindscope 2 Pro. So Mindscope is basically made up of entries. You can create entries by simply tapping somewhere you have this plus button, or you can double tap, and then you can type in text. That's as simple as it is, and then you basically have a text bit that you can move around. You can select it by either long pressing on it or dragging open a selection rectangle, and then once you have it selected, you can move it around. You can edit it by selecting it and either hitting this edit button or going up here and going on edit in the context menu. So if we do that, let's go ahead and select it and hit edit, then you can, of course, change the text. You can style it by going in here and choosing the style button, which then lets you pick a font, lets you pick a text color, background, and the various styling options that you normally would have. What is new in Mindscope 2 is I've added different entry types. So you have your normal text entry types, but you now could also instead say, I want this to be a to-do, which then generates a to-do box next to it. So then you can toggle that on and off. Or you can say, I want it to be a link, which is then a hyperlink that links elsewhere. Or a note that once you hit the button, it then opens up an editor for you to give long form text into that entry. So then the next time you tap on it, it shows you the long form text. So that's just nice in case you have long form text you want to put into an entry. You can delete something by simply dragging it down here to the trash can, and then it's gone. You can also, of course, copy items. You just simply select the items you want and either go here on copy entries or just do Command C if you have a keyboard. Once you have it copied, you can then paste it in somewhere else, which will then let you decide do you want to duplicate your entries or actually create a link that links away into a different hierarchy. So if we just duplicate them, then we now have the same entries duplicated twice. So if we delete these, then we're good to go. Of course, you could do that elsewhere on a different board as well. Another thing you can do is lock entries. So if you highlight an entry and then you go here on lock, what that makes it possible now to do is it no longer is going to be moved around when you tap on it. And also if you drag other entries into it, it's not going to drag them into other entries, which by the way is one possibility. If I have text and I want to put it into another entry, I simply drag the one over the other and let go. And now that has placed this entry into that entry. If I click on it, I now see it in here. And then finally, you can align entries. So let me go ahead and unlock this. You can align entries by highlighting the things you want to align and then going on align and picking one of your options like that. Then you can align the entries accordingly. I'd like to real quick show one, just kind of a bit of a demo for some of these other things. So if we go here and we open up my bookmark page, bookmark view, you can bookmark different entries, and I already have one bookmarked here called contexts, which shows you one example of what you could do with Mindscope. You can just create different contexts like in getting things done. And let's say you're trying to sort various lists of things you're trying to keep track of, such as movies to watch. So if you go into movies to watch, let's say you've made a list of different movies you want to see, and you actually have additional information that you want to put into Punch Drunk Love because you remembered that you ran across a Wikipedia article. So if I go back over, and let's say I'm here in Wikipedia, and then I just drag in this URL, then that will now put in a link entry type into this entry. And when you click on it, then it'll open up that link in your browser. So it's a great way of collecting important links to various topics and other things you want to do. Additionally, you could also just go in and let's say you like this summary. So you would copy out this summary. You go back into Mindscope, and if you now, let's say you didn't have the link, but you're trying to paste in this, then this will let you either paste it in as its own long entry with a lot of text, which you probably don't want, but you can also paste it in as a note or have your on-device AI summarize it. So if we paste it in as a note, then it gives you the first paragraph, but everything else now is in this long form note right here. So then that would keep track of, let's say, your movies to watch. So if we go back to our list of things I'm wanting to show you, one thing you can also do is export entries. So you can export them into these formats, either your own Mindscope 2 file that you can then later open in Mindscope, or an OPML, which works great with other mind mapping apps, or HTML, which is actually really cool. I'll show you in a little bit because it creates basically an interactive version of Mindscope as a self-contained HTML file. So let's say I exported one of these pages into HTML. This is what it would look like. You now have this page that you can open and send someone as an HTML that if you click on it, it actually will let you go through, just like in Mindscope, the entire Mindscope file that you created. In fact, you can even move things around if you want in this HTML. So that's a really fun export type that you can do. You can export things to markdown bullet lists, to PDF snapshots of your pages, and PNG image snapshots of your pages. But you can also import files. So if you have an OPML file and you drag it into Mindscope, then it will generate a bullet list version that is hierarchical then in Mindscope, and you can immediately work with it. Or if you drag in a text file, it will generate entries for your texts. So then there's a search. So if you just do Command F, you can immediately search. So if I search now here for movies to watch, then as you'll see, it pops open that movies to watch page that we saw before. If I now clicked on this, it would navigate there. But another thing you can do is hit this link button or the copy button. That'll either duplicate that searched entry, or it will create a link. So if I do this, create cross link, I now have this link entry, which will jump over into the page that I just found in the search. So what's great is you can create like little hashtags and then search those and immediately then enter them into the pages that you're in. So if I click on this, I'm immediately back in movies to watch. If I go back to my bookmarks page, I can now just really quickly jump back. There are tons of shortcuts and gestures. I just want to show just a couple of those. If you pinch both on iPhone or iPad, but also on Mac, then it goes up a level like that. I just pinched. And on iPhone and iPad, if you do a 3-finger swipe, then that lets you undo and redo. On Mac, you can do Command Z and Command Shift Z, which are the keyboard shortcuts here. And there are lots of keyboard shortcuts while you're in a canvas, so you can toggle a breadcrumb bar up there. If you don't want to have your breadcrumb bar, is what I call it, for getting up certain levels, you can do that. You can navigate, you can paste, etc. But even typing first letters, so if I do T, then it'll immediately select this entry. Hitting enter lets me immediately edit that entry. But there are other things you can do when you have something selected. You could delete the entry, and you can copy the entry, and so on and so forth. And finally, I would just show you just a couple of the settings that there are. If you're back on the main grid page, that's the very top, then I have just a few settings that you have. It's open last location, which means every time you open Mindscope, it'll then open into the board that you were in the very last time you closed the app. You can have that either be on or off. Or also snap and alignment guides, what's nice about the snap and alignment guides is if you are dragging around entries, then you may want to align them to other entries like this. See? Things to buy and errands. And then that enables you to have these entries be nicely aligned for wherever you're at. You can have that be on or off depending on what you want to do. So that's just a quick overview. I don't want to do this for too long, but I just wanted to show you this app because I'm really excited about it. I'm planning on releasing it within the next couple of weeks from today, and it is currently in beta on TestFlight. So if you'd like to try it out, just go to my website, mindscopeapp.com, and you can join our beta currently. But in the future, hopefully you won't be able to do that, but it'll be actually out on the app stores. And if so, I hope you check it out. So have a great day.